Okay, so you know how we're always tossing stuff into the recycling bin? Like, I'm sure we've all stood there with an old newspaper or a cereal box wondering what happens next.
Right, it just magically turns into new paper, or so we think.
Exactly. So today, we're diving deep into that magic, specifically the unsung heroes of paper recycling.
Oh, you mean the ones who deal with all that soggy paper mush?
Well, kind of. We're talking about wash dinking operators. Ever heard of them?
The name rings a bell, vaguely. But to be honest, I wouldn't know the first thing about what they actually do.
Most people don't. But these folks are essential in transforming used paper back into usable material. Seriously, they're like the master chefs of the recycling world, except instead of delicious dishes, they make, well, more paper.
All right, you've piqued my curiosity, so let's break it down. What does a wash Deinking operator actually do all day?
In the simplest terms, they operate and monitor those giant tanks where the paper de-inking magic happens. Picture this huge vats of water, recycled paper swirling around, and these specialized chemicals that break down the ink. It's like a giant paper smoothie, but instead of making it tastier, they're making it, well, blank again.
So there's actual science involved. I was imagining it was like tossing everything into a giant washing machine.
Oh, it's way more intricate than your average laundry day. It's all about finding that perfect balance, the right mix of water, recycled paper, and these special chemicals called dispersants. Think of it like choosing the right detergent for your laundry, but on a massive industrial scale.
Dispersants. That sounds pretty technical.
It is. Each type of paper, each type of ink needs a specific approach. Our wash dinking operators, they're the ones who figure it all out. They're the ones with the secret recipe.
Fascinating. So it's not just about operating machinery, it's about understanding the chemistry behind the process, too.
Absolutely. They're part chemist, part engineer, part problem solver. It's a pretty impressive skill set.
Okay, I'm starting to see why you called them the unsung heroes. But how does one even become a wash dinking operator? Is there like a special school for this?
Well, it's not exactly Hogwarts, but it is a journey. Think apprenticeships, on-the-job training, learning from the pros who've been there, done that. It usually starts with a wash dinking operator trainee position.
Ah, so you begin as a Padawan of paper pulp. What does a typical day look like for a trainee? Lots of sweeping up stray paper scraps, I imagine.
More like shadowing experienced operators, getting to know the ins and outs of the equipment and learning the precise art of mixing paper, water, and those all-important dispersants.
Sounds like there's a lot to learn. One wrong move and you've got a paper-mache monster on your hands.
Well, maybe not a monster. But yeah, the stakes are high. That's why the training is so crucial. It's about mastering the mechanics and developing a deep understanding of the entire de-inking process.
So once a trainee has aced de-inking 101, what's next? Do they graduate to, say, a junior wash dinking operator?
You got it. That's when they start flexing their problem-solving muscles, making sure that massive de-inking tank runs smoothly. We're talking routine tests, on-the-fly adjustments to the mixture. They're like the conductors of the paper recycling orchestra.
Keeping everything in harmony, so to speak.
Precisely. And it's not just about fixing problems. They often help train new trainees, too, passing on that hard-earned wisdom.
A true testament to the reduce, reuse, recycle mantra. But surely there's a peak to this career ladder, right? What's the end game for a wash dinking operator extraordinaire?
Well, for those who reach the top of their game, it's the prestigious role of senior wash dinking operator.
Senior wash dinking operator, now that has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
What sets these seasoned pros apart?
Think of them as the maestros of the de-inking process. They've moved beyond simply overseeing things. They're optimizing the entire system, analyzing data, spotting patterns, and finding ways to make the whole thing more efficient and sustainable.
So they're like the Sherlock Holmes of paper recycling, always on the lookout for clues to improve the process.
Exactly. They're constantly innovating, whether it's tweaking the chemical mix, preventing equipment breakdowns, or even suggesting new technologies. They're the guardians of efficiency and sustainability in the paper recycling world. You know, we've been talking a lot about the how of de-inking, all those technical
The
details.
giant tanks, the secret chemical formulas.
Right, but I think it's important to take a step back and ask ourselves, why? Why should we care about paper recycling in the first place?
That's the heart of the matter, isn't it? It's easy to forget about that old newspaper once we toss it in the bin. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. But the truth is, paper recycling has a huge impact on the planet, on all of us, really.
Absolutely. When we recycle paper, we're not just getting rid of waste. We're
Yeah.
conserving precious resources.
Okay, so break it down for us. How does recycling that stack of old magazines on my coffee table actually help the environment?
Well, think about it. Every ton of paper we recycle saves about 17 trees. 17 trees that don't need to be cut down, which means they can keep absorbing carbon dioxide and cleaning the air.
That's incredible. And it's not just trees, right? It takes a lot of water to make paper, too.
A staggering amount. Thousands of gallons per ton, in fact. So when we recycle, we're conserving water too. And let's not forget about energy.
Right. It takes a lot of energy to turn trees into paper.
And it takes significantly less energy to recycle paper into new paper. So less pollution, less strain on our power grids. It's a win-win all around.
It's amazing how all these things are connected. But I also can't help but wonder about the future of paper recycling.
How so?
Well, we're living in a digital world. Newspapers are getting thinner. People are reading books on their phones. What happens to paper recycling when everything's digital?
That's a question a lot of people are asking. While it's true that digital media has changed things, the paper industry is far from obsolete. It's adapting, evolving.
So it's not like we're all going to be living in a paperless utopia anytime soon.
Not quite. Packaging, for one, still relies heavily on paper and cardboard. And with the rise of online shopping, well, let's just say those delivery boxes aren't going anywhere.
That's a good point. I'm definitely guilty of contributing to that cardboard box mountain myself. But so it's not just about making more boxes, right? The industry itself is changing too.
Exactly. Sustainability is no longer a buzzword, it's a necessity. And the paper industry is stepping up. There's a huge push for packaging made from recycled materials.
So it all circles back. We recycle more, the industry responds by using those recycled materials, and our trusty wash deinking operators are there to make sure those recycled fibers are up to par.
Precisely. It's a beautiful cycle, really. But speaking of cycles, let's talk about the job cycle. Because let's be real, finding a job these days, even in a growing field like recycling, can be a bit of a jungle out there.
It can feel like you're throwing your resume into a black hole sometimes. But that's where our other deep dive for today comes in RoleCatcher. It's this really cool platform that uses AI to help people find jobs, and apparently it's a game changer.
I've heard good things. They say it's not your typical job board.
Oh, not at all. This is next level stuff. It's like having a personal career coach powered by artificial intelligence. But before we get too deep into the digital weeds, I want to bring it back to our wash deinking operators. How exactly can something like RoleCatcher help someone who's interested in this very specific, very hands-on career?
That's a great question. One of the things RoleCatcher is known for is its reverse matching system. Basically, it flips the script on traditional job hunting.
Okay, so instead of me desperately sending out my resume to every company in a 100-mile radius, the jobs come looking for me.
You got it. Instead of you chasing after jobs, RoleCatcher brings the jobs to you, matching your skills and experience with what employers are actually looking for. It's all about making those connections more efficient and effective.
That sounds amazing, especially if you have a specialized skill set like our wash deinking operator friends.
Exactly. It levels the playing field, so to speak, and helps talented individuals, no matter their background, connect with employers who are looking for them.
So we've got this awesome AI-powered resume builder in our back pocket thanks to RoleCatcher. But then comes the really scary part, the interview. Is there a way for RoleCatcher to work its magic there too? Because a killer resume only gets you so far, right?
You're absolutely right. Acing the interview is crucial. And you know what? RoleCatcher doesn't leave you hanging when it comes to interview prep. Remember that massive database of interview questions we talked about? 120,000 of them? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Their AI analyzes all those questions, looking for patterns and common themes.
Oh, this is getting good. I can feel it. So it's like having a crystal ball that predicts what the interviewer is going to ask.
You could say that. Based on the role you're applying for, your experience, and even the specific company, RoleCatcher's AI predicts the questions you're most likely to encounter.
That's incredible. No more staying up all night trying to prepare for every possible question under the sun. But it's not enough to just know what you might be asked, right? You have to know how to answer those questions in a way that makes you stand out.
You hit the nail on the head. And RoleCatcher understands that. It's not just about giving you a list of questions. They provide expert guidance on how to structure your answers, what kind of examples to use, and how to inject your own personality into those responses.
Because let's face it, nobody wants to sound like a robot reading from a script, right? They want to see the real you, the person behind the resume, especially in a field like paper recycling, where passion and ingenuity really matter.
Exactly. Authenticity is key. And to help you find that sweet spot between professionalism and personality, RoleCatcher even offers mock interviews.
Okay, so you're telling me I can practice my answers and get feedback, all without the pressure of a real interviewer staring me down.
Precisely. You record yourself answering those predicted questions, and then get this, their AI analyzes your responses.
Whoa, hold on. The AI gives you feedback on your answers.
It does. It analyzes your content,
Yeah.
your delivery, even your body language, and gives you personalized tips on how to improve.
That's next level stuff. It's like having a personal interview coach available 24/7.
Exactly. It's about empowering job seekers, giving them the tools and confidence they need to succeed.
I love that. And it really drives home something we've been talking about throughout this whole deep dive. Technology isn't here to replace us. It's here to help us.
To augment our abilities, open up new possibilities.
Exactly. Just like those Wash Deinking operators we talked about, who use their expertise and amazing technology to transform something old and used into something new and valuable. RoleCatcher is doing the same thing for job seekers.
It's about taking that leap of faith, embracing new tools, and ultimately finding the career path that's right for you.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we're wrapping up our deep dive into the world of paper recycling and the future of work. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. And hey, if you're feeling inspired to explore a new career path, maybe even one in the fascinating world of recycling, be sure to check out RoleCatcher. You never know what amazing opportunities await. Until next time, stay curious and keep those resumes sharp.